Despite what you'll see in my reaction a tad bit near the end of this video, I did neglect to talk about some information revealed at E3, such as if moves are effective or not on the opponent. I apologize for not discussing every little detail not shown at E3. If it comes up again in the future with more details or is brought up in general, I'll bring it up in that particular discussion video, I hope. It has also come to my attention as of editing this video, new Pokemon Sun and Moon information will be coming out in some fashion on July 1st. If there's something to discuss, I will of course make a video on it. So if it's something huge, new Pokemon, or new game mechanics that need to be talked about, expect a video. So now, onto the video. Sorry for the delay for this video, but I was really hoping for Niquala and Awonko to get their English names so that I could address it in this particular video on top of everything else. But it doesn't look like that the English names are going to be revealed for a little bit longer, and I could not delay any further.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon discussion, another Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon discussion. In this particular video, yes, finally this is the E3 video that I said I was going to do, and there's a lot to discuss in regards to this. Hopefully this video will not be too long, but if it gets too long, I of course will put timestamps in the description below if it gets too long. So of course, I'm here to discuss everything that was revealed at E3, so the new Pokemon and new information. At the end of this video, I will show you my live reaction to the trailer, but there's some things that I want to go over first, all the information first, then you'll see the reaction that I had into the trailer. So right now, let's talk about the information, and we could talk about the new Pokemon. So Nintendo showed off a surprise in the trailer that appeared around E3. In fact, there were a lot of surprises, and I'm not going to go in depth. What I am just going to talk about is the particular trailer. I'm not going to talk about the Ladybug demonstration video that will be in there. I'm not going to talk about potentially 5 moves, but I am going to talk about the information that I have in my notes. So it's primarily coming from the trailer that was shown around that time on the Pokemon YouTube website or whatever, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, of course, let's talk about the new battle format that was first shown in the trailer. And of course, that's the new battle format of the Battle Royale. This is a new battle format that pits 4 trainers against each other in a free-for-all. I mean, we have had tag battles in the games before where you had Silver, where you and Silver would team up against Lance and Claire. So there was 4 Pokemon on the field, 2 Pokemon attacking 2 Pokemon, but with 4 trainers. So it has been something that's been implied before, except in this instance, it's 1 versus 3. So this is 4 players battling against each other all at once. And according to the information, it's not as simple as defeating all of the Pokemon. Instead, the match ends when apparently 1 trainer loses all their Pokemon, at least from the information that I learned from other people and stuff. So, of course, you can have up to 3 Pokemon, and when the trainer loses all 3 Pokemon, when 1 trainer loses all 3 Pokemon, should they have that amount, of course, if they only have 1 Pokemon, then it'll be 1 Pokemon, but at maximum, when 1 trainer loses all their Pokemon, the match ends. And the one with the most wins, on top of how many Pokemon they still have, will determine who wins the battle. So, for example, let's say you had all 3 Pokemon, and 1 trainer loses, you're potentially going to get 3 points. But if you did not defeat any Pokemon, then the person who won might actually take those points. And so I'm thinking, I think it's possible that if you get wins, you'll probably get more points than if you just deal damage, because I can see a possibility that there is this trainer who has one Pokemon left, but he defeats all another Pokemon, but there's one trainer that still has all three of their Pokemon, and so that would be like 1 point plus maybe 1 point for winning. They'd have like 2 points or something. So I don't know the full mechanics, but it seems like whoever has the most points and you get points from having Pokemon and wins. Whoever has the most points wins the battle. So you do have to do some stuff in the battle. You can't just sit there and protect all the time and hope that you're going to win because everyone else has been defeated, because likely you're not going to win in regards to that. So I think it's pretty cool and awesome, because I feel like this could open a whole plethora of strategies against each other that I'm sure it'll be amazing to look at. And so, do you attack one player close to death and then have someone else come and steal the win by knocking it out? Like you deal damage, and let's say Sturdy activates or whatever, and it's 1 HP. If that's something that could happen in this battle format, do you just do that, or do you use your weaker attacks and hope that somebody else brings it down to a low HP, so that when it's your turn again, you can defeat the opponent? So it really all depends. Do you attack with the most health all the times in hopes that when it's your turn again, you'll at least knock out the Pokemon with the least health? It seems to be a lot of possibilities right now, but it'll be interesting. Although from a different perspective, it'll be interesting how this happens. So I do think for those who enjoy competitive battle in Pokemon, they'll probably love and enjoy and hate this new battling format. Love because it's new and exciting and brings a whole new field, but I'm sure they'll hate it because it'll be frustrating, because I'm sure the old strategies will probably not work as well in this format, because while you're too busy trying to set up so you can take the most wins, you're probably going to miss out on actually winning. So it might not work, but so you have to be careful, and I say otherwise someone will take your win, and that's what I was going for. So competitively, I'm sure the Battle Frontier will be amazing and exciting freshness for the series. As for my personal opinion, I'm not much of a competitive battler, and since I rarely ever battle online anyway, I'm mostly a single player campaign story mode type person. I don't know how much this will affect me, but I think it's technically pretty neat. It seems like it'll be interesting to try it out if there's a single player campaign story mode version of it. So let's of course move on to the main topic, and of course that's the new Pokemon that were revealed in the trailer. But before we quite get into that, I of course want to discuss the Pokemon that have already been revealed and information around them. Editing Dustin here. I apologize for forgetting to include two particular bits of information in regards to Solgaleo and Lunala. Well, each of them are the two bits of information combined to one large bit of information. I forgot about Solgaleo and Lunala's different phases or different forms that they have. Solgaleo's Radiant Sun phase and Lunala's Moon phase. And Pokemon.com says Solgaleo and Lunala are two Pokemon that hold an important key to the story. The forms that these two Pokemon take when they release their mighty power are now revealed as the Radiant Sun phase and the Full Moon phase. Both appear to be shining with a stronger light than in the previous released images. What will these two do when they release their full power? So that's something that I forgot to include in my E3 discussion. So I apologize, because that didn't quite come out in E3. If I'm not mistaken, I already made my June 2nd and Cora video. And of course, after I made that and already published or whatever, then this information came out and I couldn't add it to my previous video. So I'm including it here in the E3 news. Also, there was a little bit of information that I want to talk a little bit about, but right now there's really not much I can discuss, and that was in E3 demonstration or whatever. There was talk about the 4 guardians of each of the Alola Islands, so I'm assuming those are legendary Pokemon, maybe even including Solgaleo and Lunala, maybe even something more. So, and then of course it might have something to do with that ancient statue creature thing that we get from a backpacker in one of the hotels in X and Y. So that's all I wanted to say in regards to that. Just letting you know that that's a possibility, and just wanted to make this quick note to interject in my E3 video. So I apologize for neglecting to put that into the particular video. So, of course, that means we're going to talk about Magearna, the first revealed 7th generation Pokemon. Magearna, of course, has been revealed to be Steel Fairy. I believe I talked about this in Koro, and it has Soul Heart as its ability. That was, of course, discussed as well in the Koro video, along with the June 2nd information. But as and it, of course, was shown with the signature move, at least a screenshot of Fleur Cannon. Now, of course, we did get a lot more information. Before I go into the information that was revealed during E3, or around the time of E3 anyway, there's just some things that I want to talk about. So, Magearna is the artificial Pokemon with a heart. And, of course, all this information that you can find on Pokemon.com explains everything that you need to know about Magearna. And Magearna has the power to perceive the emotions, thoughts, and feelings of other Pokemon. If a Pokemon is injured, Magearna will feel the other's pain and suffering and will try as hard as it can to save that Pokemon. Magearna's real body is the spherical construction in its chest called the Soul Heart, created by a scientist who gathered the life energy from Pokemon. Magearna has the ability to transform its appearance into that of a Pokeball. It does so when it sleeps, and apparently also when it's sad. So, of course, that right there tells us a lot about Magearna in relation to what could happen in the games. And, of course, that's how it affects its ability, Soul Heart. It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Soul Heart has been revealed having the effect of raising Magearna's special attack by 1 each time another Pokemon in the area faints. In the trailer, we saw that Magearna's partner was Eevee, and Eevee lost to, I think, Pangoro, and then, of course, Magearna's special attack rose 1, and, of course, it used Fleur Cannon and knocked out Pangoro, and, of course, it showed that raise and special attack. But if you go to Pokemon.com, it specifically says that, unless of course there's new information that contradicts me later, but basically what Pokemon.com on their website said that any other Pokemon outside of Magearna faints will raise the special attack for Magearna, because of course in the description it said if a Pokemon is injured, Magearna will feel the other's pain and suffering and will try as hard as it can to save that Pokemon. So, of course, that would make sense why it would raise its special attack. So, yeah, that's what it does. So, I think Magearna does seem like it'll be a powerful Pokemon, because it seems like when you knock out a Pokemon or a Pokemon faints or whatever, it'll raise the attack. Now, the one thing that we don't know precisely if Soul Heart will activate if your partner Pokemon of Magearna were to knock out a Pokemon on the other team, or maybe like in a free-for-all mode, will any Pokemon knocked out raise Magearna's special attack. So I guess there's some things that we don't know, but assume the information is correct. If I assume the information correct, then regardless of how a Pokemon faints, will raise Magearna's special attack, which is very different than any other ability that I can recall. And of course, like I said, I'm not competitive, so I'm not really sure. So anyway, so let's move on to its signature move, Fleur Cannon. We knew about Fleur Cannon from Koro because we have a screenshot, but we actually learned of its typing. We may have learned of its typing. Fleur Cannon was used against Pangoro and dealt super effective damage against it. Of Magearna's types, that obviously means it's a fairy type, because Pangoro is not weak against steel, it's weak against fairy. Sure, Pangoro is also weak against flying and fighting type moves, but can you honestly say that Magearna, a steel fairy Pokemon, signature move would be a flying or a fighting type move? I mean, sure, Noivern's most associated with Boom Burst, and that's a normal type move, but that's just because Noivern is a sound-like Pokemon, so it kind of makes sense that it would have a sound-based move or whatever. But can we really say that it wouldn't be a fairy type, this move? Because, like I said, Pangoro is only weak against 3 Pokemon. Fairy, Fighting, and Flying. So it makes absolute sense in the world for Fleur Cannon to be a fairy type. Unless, of course, you want to argue that it's a flying or fighting type. Of course, that doesn't ignore the possibility that maybe Fleur Cannon will be like Flying Press, and while it does primarily fairy damage, that it could also do steel type damage. I'm not really sure if Pangoro is resistant to steel types. I don't think it is, because I don't think fighting resists steel, but of course, whatever. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say in regards to Magearna. So of course, let's move on to the new Pokemon of 7th generation that were revealed in the trailer. First off, let's go off with the weirdest one first, and of course, in my opinion, that's of course Yungoos. Now, Yungoos is weird because it's a little hair design, and of course, given how late I am in regards to this video, I really don't need to make a Donald Trump joke. Trollolololo. But its hair is very strange and awkward, but that doesn't detract from the appearance or whatever. I do think that while I don't really care all that much about its hair, I feel like the hair is a little bit too weird for it to fully enjoy the design. But outside of that, it's still pretty fine, but it's just weird to look at that hair and be like, whatever. By the way, it's not confirmed, not really, that Yungoos can be found in that one island where there's that part of the map that's enclosed in walls. Trollolololo. Just kidding. Anyway, Yungoos is a normal type and classified as the loitering Pokemon, and has a big appetite that can never be satisfied. The majority of its body is given over to its stomach, and digestion is swift and is always hungry. It has strong fangs and can crush and consume the hardest of objects. I'm sure Yungoos would love to be in a landfill, by the way. Also, surprisingly, Yungoos is not a Pokemon that is native to the Alola region. It was brought to the region to help deal with the explosive population of certain other Pokemon. Probably Trubbish and Garbodor, because of its a bit. I mean, just kidding. I'm sure it'll be some new Pokemon, and if it's like Zangoose and Seviper, then it's probably we're looking at a new snake-looking Pokemon that might be introduced in the Alola region. Probably native, so hopefully it's a new snake Pokemon, which would be interesting. So I guess we'll find out. Maybe the next generation, 8th generation, will be where Yungoos is native, and perhaps they'll introduce a split evolution or something in the hypothetical 8th generation Pokemon of Yungoos. You know, maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, Yungoos also has 2 potential abilities. The first one is Strong Jaw, and of course we already know what that one is, and it ups the power of biting moves by 50%. So every biting move for Yungoos is like receiving a same type attack bonus. Perhaps they'll introduce a normal type biting move for Yungoos, where it's like super effective hit against neutral types because it'll add up and do similar neutral damage to resisted Pokemon. So like it'll feel like a super effective hit against Pokemon that take neutral damage from normal types, and for those that only resist normal types for one of their moves, like, you know, if it's part rock, not rock and steel, but if it's like part rock or something, you know, it'll feel like it does normal damage instead of resisted damage because of all the boost going on. But that depends entirely on the circumstances. So anyway, its second ability it can learn, of course, is the new ability called Stakeout. Stakeout is an interesting ability that allows the user to deal twice as much damage to any Pokemon that is sent into the match mid-battle. So, for example, let's say it's Yungoos versus C-Dot. If you replace C-Dot with Shiftry, the attack Yungoos inflicts on Shiftry after being switched out, assuming it does attack during that moment, will deal twice as much damage. So, like, if Yungoos manages to learn Fire Fang, and you try and use Fire Fang against C-Dot, but it switches out to Shiftry, Fire Fang will deal twice as much damage with the Yungoos with Stakeout. Seems only useful if the opponent switches out during battle, of course. So hopefully intelligent players of Stakeout Young Goose will use a non-normal attack if they know the opponent has a ghost type. So like if the whole strategy around Young Goose with Stakeout is to inflict twice as much damage for switching out, and if Young Goose is against a Pokemon or whatever, hopefully players of Young Goose will not use a normal type attack against a player because it'll probably switch to a ghost type, and of course that'll take no damage from it. So if you know your opponent has a ghost type, then I wouldn't use a normal type attack against the trainer unless of course you already battled the ghost type or whatever. But regardless, it looks like Stakeout will be wasted if the opponent switches out to a ghost type, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Young Goose is okay. It's really kind of like Bidoof, Rattata, Sentret, and all those other Pokemon. I don't know if it evolves, but it'll definitely be pretty interesting to see what Young Goose will evolve into. Can you imagine like this Mega Evolved Swampert? You know how Mega Swampert looks like, but you know, take that shape of it and turn it into like some sort of mongoose, you know, with like coloring of a mongoose or similar to Young Goose, but just looking like that. I think there actually might be a creature in the Monster Hunter games, Monster Hunter 4, that is probably what I'm talking about. You know, like this giant fat creature that's huge and looks like a big, giant, stretched out mongoose is what I think Young Goose could potentially evolve into. So I guess we'll have to see. So let's move into a really cool, cute looking Pokemon that was introduced in the trailer. And after Magearna, it was the first 7th generation Pokemon we knew about. And of course, it's this one. Introducing Wirebird, the wireframe Pokemon. Just kidding. The wireframe bird's design has been finished, completed, and of course, now we're introducing, of course, Pikipek, the woodpecker Pokemon. It has also... Oops. And even though this wasn't in the trailer, it was revealed that Pikipek had 2 evolutions, so it'll just be like all the other bird Pokemon. Apologies to Hoot Hoot and Talo for regional birds. Also, I guess Spearow would also be one of those Pokemon, as well as maybe Rufflet and all those other Pokemon. But it does seem like it's going to be like Pidgey, P-Dove, Starly, Fletchling, you know, those Pokemon, which is really cool. So if we go on here, it says Pikipek can also have 2 abilities. Keen Eye, which of course prevents the accuracy loss. If you use Sand Attack against Pikipek with a Keen Eye, it's not going to work. Or Mud Slap, even though that will do no damage because Pikipek's part flying. But, you know, so anyway, and Skill Link, which allows moves that hit 2 to 5 times, which is its other ability. So, which means moves like Bone Rush, Bullet Seed, Icicle Spear, Pin Missile, Rock Blast, and Tail Slap, potentially any new moves with a base power of 25 will be like hitting an opponent with a base power of 125. And moves like Bullet Seed and Icicle Spear, Skill Link is dangerous with 100% accuracy. Of course, I don't think Pikipek is going to learn all of those moves, although that would be interesting. It'll probably learn some of them, but Skill Link is dangerous on the right Pokemon with the right moves. For example, I think competitively Cloyster with Skill Link is preferred because you can get 125 base power attack with 100% accuracy with Icicle Spear. So that right there gives Cloyster a huge advantage. Of the most powerful moves in this category, however, I do think Pikipek can learn Bullet Seed because of the information on Pokemon.com, which says Pikipek will attack distance opponents by zipping seeds at them. These shots have enough strength to embed the seeds in tree trunks. Sounds a lot like Bullet Seed to me. Also, there's a cool saying that comes with Pikipek that was on Pokemon.com, and it says, something lost, something missed, check inside the Pikipek nest. That sounded pretty interesting, so maybe there'll be like Pikipek nests in the games where we can go and see if there are any items or something. So there's other information on Pikipek that I left out, so go ahead and go do Pokemon.com. So before I move on to the final Pokemon that was revealed, if I'm not mistaken, there's one thing that I want to discuss. I'm hoping Picky-Peck evolves into something interesting when it evolves. I don't want another normal flying type. I was hoping so much that the Fletchling line was the indication that we were going to stop having basic birds being normal flying as a final evolution. So I'm hoping that Picky-Peck could evolve into a grass type, an ice type, a steel type, because if you really look at Picky-Peck, it almost does look like it has like, it could like evolve into a metallic body bird. So maybe we'll get a steel flying, but I don't want another normal flying. If they insist on having normal flying types within the games of being a relatively good base power or base stats, you know, Pidgeot strength, Staraptor, whatever, just introduce a two-stage evolution. But for something that evolves twice, always give it a different typing, because I don't think normal flying is the best typing out there, you know. I'm sure it's useful against ghost types or whatever, but I just want Picky-Peck to evolve into something else. I don't care what it is as long as its final evolution is not normal flying. I mean, I'm sure it'll have a cool design because Picky-Peck is really cool, and I'm looking forward most to getting it, you know. I'm probably going to choose Litten, so I'm probably going to have Picky-Peck on my team, you know. And if I were to get a Rowlet or something in a different game or something, you know, I'll probably choose a different Pokemon, obviously, but if I'm choosing Litten, then I definitely want Picky-Peck. Picky-Peck right now is my favorite basic bird Pokemon. It beats Pidgey, it beats Hoot Hoot, it beats Talo, it beats Starly, it beats P-Dove, it beats Fletchling. Now, Fletchling was cool because of what it evolved into, but when I first saw Fletchling, I felt like it was too small. It was kind of a cute Pokemon, but it was like really small and I didn't quite like it. It was still pretty cool or whatever, but Picky-Peck is like cute and it has this really awesome color scheme to it. It's like something that I'm definitely looking forward to. So of course, let's move on to the probably the most interesting Pokemon of all the three because of the description on Pokemon.com. And of course, that's the Caterpie of this generation, and that's none other than Grubbin. Grubbin, I think, is pretty cute if you ignore those like mandibles that it has or whatever, the pincer or whatever you want to call those giant horns coming out of its mouth. You take that away, Grubbin looks very cute. It looks like a baby. It looks like, you know how like babies where or like when they're like sleeping or whatever, they have that like body blanket or something where they're covered or whatever, and it looks like Grubbin a little bit where there's like no feet or whatever. It's like a, or you know, like when you wrap a baby up in like a blanket or whatever and its head is sticking up facing you and it's like it's covered like with a cocoon almost. It kind of looks like that. So Grubbin, if you ignore those giant horn things or whatever, it does look like a baby wrapped up, you know. So I think that's why it looks cute. I mean, it's nowhere near as cute as Sawaddle, of course, which is the cutest caterpillar looking Pokemon, and of course Grubbin is more of a grub, but it's still kind of a worm like Pokemon. So of course, yeah, so I think it's pretty cute in its own way, and so, but I can definitely see with those like horns or mandibles or whatever you want to call them, pincers, yeah, it does look a little off-putting, so I can understand why. But so Grubbin is of course the larva Pokemon. It's pure bug, and of course it has the Swarm ability, which of course raises bug type moves when it's low on health. This to me, it having Swarm seems to indicate that it will definitely be more like Sawaddle than the other worm-like Pokemon like Caterpie, Weedle, Wurmple, and anything Scatterbug. You know, I feel like it's definitely going to be different than that because no other Pokemon, with the obvious exception of Sawaddle, which is why I think it's like going to be like Sawaddle, had Swarm. The others had like Shield Dust, and one had Runaway, and I'm sure others had other moves and stuff, but they never had Swarm. At least in their basic stage as they are, they never had Swarm. Sawaddle had Swarm, and it could learn a plethora of moves. Like a whole, like Energy Ball, Razor Leaf. It was like why I enjoyed Swaddle so much, because it was a bug Pokemon that could evolve differently than the other worm Pokemon, and you weren't trying to evolve it to just level 10 just so you can evolve. It's kind of weird that there are Pokemon out there that exist only to evolve. You would like, well, come on, give me a couple more moves, you know? Maybe I want to teach it Bug Bite, but unfortunately Bug Bite is like at what, 15 or whatever. There's like it's it'd be nice if Caterpie or another of those Pokemon can learn Bug Bite at like level 10, so that way you can evolve it into the next form at 11, and then after 11 into 12, that's when you can get your final evolution. So I think Grubbin's going to be more like Sewaddle, where it'll be able to have its own thing on its team, and you don't necessarily have to rush to evolve it. Obviously, you're going to want to evolve Grubbin, and I'm hoping it does evolve because Grubbin looks like a Pokemon that can evolve. No, Grubbin has a pre-evolution. It's just an egg with eyes. No, so although it'd be weird for a larva Pokemon to be not something that can evolve. So I do think Grubbin's going to evolve. So, of course, it's nice that it potentially could have moves to use. Like, maybe it can learn, like, Fury Cutter or something of that nature. Or some other bug-type move that's introduced or whatever. So, Grubbin, as I said, is potentially a more interesting Pokemon than you might think because of its information on Pokemon.com, which might relate to what it could potentially evolve into, which is an exciting thought. Grubbin relies on its sturdy jaw as a weapon in battle and as a tool for burrowing through the earth. Grubbin loves electricity, which is why it can be found near power plants and substations. By wrapping tree branches in sticky threads, then it spews its... Oh, sorry, that's something different. Sorry. So, which is why it can be found near power plants and substations. By wrapping tree branches in the sticky threads that it spews from its mouth, Grubbin can swing around like an actor on suspension wires. So, of course, this might imply 3 different potential types. I only mentioned 2, but now that I think about it, maybe that third one could be what I think it might be. So the first one, Grubbin relies on its sturdy jaw as a weapon in battle and as a tool for burrowing through the earth. Potentially, it could evolve into a ground type. Grubbin loves electricity, which is why it's found near power plants and substations. Maybe it could evolve into a part electric type. By wrapping tree branches in sticky threads that it spews from its mouth, Grubbin can swing around like an actor on suspension wires. Now, typically, I think the reason for that is for the effect of potentially, like, flying or something to that effect, so maybe it'll evolve into a part flying types. Maybe it could evolve into all 3 types. Maybe Grubbin is going to be very similar to Burmy in some aspects, that depending on where it's found, depending on its circumstances, where it evolves into an entirely different Pokemon. You know, Burmy, a male Burmy can evolve into a Mothim, while female Burmys evolve into Wormadam, and Wormadam's typing depends on what cloak Burmy is wearing at that particular time. So Wormadam could be part steel, part grass, and part ground, I believe. So maybe it's something like that. Depending on the location of where you evolve Grubbin, maybe that'll determine what it evolves into. So maybe this is just a... Maybe it's like Eevee and can evolve into a whole bunch of different types, you know. If you're in a ground area or desert, maybe it'll evolve into a ground type. If you're a grass area, maybe it'll evolve into a grass type. If you evolve it at the power plant or anywhere near electric Pokemon, maybe it'll evolve into an electric type. Maybe in some other aspects, maybe it can evolve into a flying type. You know, maybe having something that has something to do with flying types will supersede its evolution to anything else and evolves into flying type. It'll definitely be interesting to see what Grubbin is. Right now, I'm thinking it's probably going to be more like a bug electric as its final evolution, which would be really cool to see. But, of course, it could be any other type, and I'm really looking forward to see what Grubbin will evolve into. So that's pretty much all I want to say, and it's good that my video isn't that long for all the information on E3. Sorry again for the delay, but like I said, I was really hoping for Iwanko and Niquala to have their English names so I could talk a little bit about them in regards to their English names, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the particular case. So anyway, Hello everyone, I'm Dustin, and welcome to my live reaction. So I'm going to go to this trailer that I see that there are new Pokemon revealed, so I'm going to just go ahead and click on it and react to it. Alright, let's do this. Then I'll go back to therapy. Okay. New Pokemon discovered. Pikipek. Aw, it's the thing that we saw in the wireframe. Pikipek. Oh, that's such a cool looking Pokemon. It's so cute. It's a normal flying, of course it is. Ooh, Skilling. That's pretty cool. Young Goose. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. A normal type. It's like an angry mongoose thing. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a mongoose. Grubbin. Ooh, is that a firebug type? No, just pure bug. Swarm. So Grubbin is our Caterpie of this generation. Wonder what Grubbin evolves into. Mythical Pokemon. Magearna. Okay. Oh, Magearna's Soul Heart raises its special attack when a Pokemon is fainted. Huh. Yep, Fleur Cannon is Fairy type confirmed since it just knocked out a Pangoro. A brand new battle mode? Oh, nice. Battle Royale. Litten, Pikachu, Popplio, Rowlet. It's a 4-player free-for-all. Oh, nice. Oops. So it's a 4 versus 4 people. Oh, nice. Oh, that is going to be difficult. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see if there was anything else revealed. Oh, okay, so in the treehouse it said that moves list can bring up full details to tell you if it's effective, super effective, or not affected on the opponent Pokemon. You can now see how a stat has altered via moves in battle. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess my simple opinions of the new Pokemon is they're pretty cool. I have nothing wrong with them. It is interesting to see what Robin will evolve into. It looks like Therapy hasn't updated his new Pokemon website, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So yeah, Pikipek, the bird Pokemon, is pretty cute looking. Yongoose is pretty scary looking. I don't think you'd want it as a normal pet or whatever, but and then Grubbin looks very interesting as well. I'm curious to see what it evolves into. It looks like it will be a fire bug though because of its design. So maybe we'll get like some sort of fire bug final evolution. Yeah, Yongoose looks like it's pretty scary looking. So yeah, Grubbin, yeah, definitely. I don't know what that would evolve into, but I'm looking forward to it because it looks kind of cute. Not swaddle cute, but pretty cute and scary looking for what it is. Yeah, I'm sure if this thing actually existed in real life, everyone would freak out. So anyway, I think that's it for my live reaction of all the news. I don't know if there's going to be any new information, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and I don't know if I'm going to have a reaction to that, but I will talk about it in a video later. So thank you for watching. That's all I have to say. I'm not sure if I'm going to discuss any other interesting information that was revealed in E3 like I suggested in the beginning. It's possible that Pokemon could learn 5 moves instead of 4, which would definitely be interesting. And I feel like because of Battle Royale, that might explain why Pokemon can now have up to 5 moves potentially. So that way you'd have more ways to fight against 3 other Pokemon that are against you. So I definitely think that's interesting because I always thought that it was difficult for there to be only 4 Pokemon moves, and I felt like 5 would have been perfect, you know, because that would have just been that one extra move that you wanted. Because for me, I'm not very competitive, but what I do like is moves. You know, I do like moves and stuff. And for certain Pokemon, there are some strategies that I like with like Pidgeot or something like that. I definitely like Sand Attack on it or whatever, you know, just as a move because there really isn't very much I would like to give that. And if you're talking about a Pokemon that can learn a whole bunch of multiple types, then definitely a fifth move. So I don't know if I'm going to go in depth into something like that. I don't know what's going on in regards to the Pokemon Sun and Moon, but if the information is revealed in a trailer or in Cora Coral, I definitely will talk about it then, but I'm not going to go and analyze in depth of what we saw at E3 in regards to Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I think that's pretty much it. After this particular video will of course be my thoughts. Well, you don't probably care if you don't watch my anime videos, but in regards to anime, there's a league coming up for a character in the Pokemon anime. That's going to be my next video. As for those who only watch for my game information and stuff, my thoughts on my game information, then I have no idea when the next time what my video will be next. Maybe I'll come up with some idea. If you have one in the comment section below that I haven't done or what I would like to see in regards to certain things or whatever, feel free to go ahead and leave a suggestion in the comment section below. But for right now, I'm switching over to my anime discussion videos. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.